Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm back with a story time. To be honest with you, I don't even know if I'm gonna upload this, but this just happened to me yesterday, and I thought that I would tell you guys about the story, you know, just in case there's any parents out there that this has happened to, or you know, or I just wanted to rant. So basically, this happened yesterday, Friday. I'm filming this on a Saturday, and it happened at my daughter's school. Now, my daughter wasn't feeling too well, but she wasn't poorly enough, obviously, to stay at home. Otherwise, I would keep her at home. So I decided to let her go to school. I took her to school and spoke to her teacher, and I told him, you know what, my daughter's not feeling too well, but she's in school, so can you just keep an eye on her, and if she comes to you to tell you that she's not feeling too well, I can pick her up. And he was like, okay, that's no problem. Actually yesterday I did see that she was coughing and just wasn't that well, but I will keep an eye on her. So nothing new there. Carried on with the rest of my day. Around 11 o'clock I was on my way back home, and the school is literally on my way back home. And so I saw my daughter in the playground, and she said to me, "Mum, I'm not feeling too well." I said to her, okay, go to the office and I'll pick you up now. I was there anyway, so I'll pick you up. So I went into the school office. I spoke to the first lady and I said to her, I'm here to pick up my daughter. And immediately she was like, oh, no, don't worry, Mum, if she's sick, I'll call you. And I was like, I just spoke to my daughter. I just saw her in the playground, and she said she's not feeling too well. I'm here to pick her up. And she was like, oh, okay, Mum, you can wait if you want. And so I said, yeah, I'll wait. So I sat in the office reception waiting for my daughter. Whilst I was sitting there, a couple of things happened with her colleague that just didn't sit well with me. The lady came in. I assumed that the lady's child was going to start school. And you know what? The way the office lady was talking to that mum really didn't sit well with me. First of all, the woman that came in was foreign. You can tell that because one, she said that the birth certificate was German, and also you could tell her English was not the greatest, so she was speaking a sort of broken English. The way the office lady was speaking to her was very condescending. If you know what I mean. Like, unless you know what it's like to first maybe come into the country and not be able to speak English, and the way people speak down at you, unless you have been through that, you kind of won't understand how I, sitting there, could tell that the office staff was being condescending to her, but she was. So she would ask her, oh, but Mum, did you not know that you were supposed to come here on a Wednesday? And the lady was trying to explain to her, oh no, I couldn't. And she's like, but this birth certificate, it's not the original. And the lady was like, but this is all I have. And she was like, anyway, your child is not going to start until after half term anyway. And that just didn't sit well with me, but I let it go. I sat there, you know, waiting for my daughter. And then the second incident, now this really got to me. There was this little girl that came into the office to ask for some paper. She said that her teacher had sent her. She went, oh, Mrs. Smith sent me to get some paper. And that office lady, the one that had just been condescending to the first parent, said, well, what do you want? Well, what paper? And the little girl was like, A3 paper. And then she was like, how many do you want? And the little girl was like, I don't know. And the lady was like, well, go back and ask her what she wants and how many she wants. And I sat there and I just could not believe that she was this, like, harsh with a little girl just asking for paper because her teacher sent her. So that was the second thing that happened while I was sitting there. So I'm just sitting there, and by this time I already started to keep an eye on her because something just didn't sit right with me. So I started taking notes on my phone, you know. I got up, I went to the staff board, because there's a staff board there where you can kind of see all the staff members and what their job titles are and etc. And I couldn't find her picture or her title, so I didn't know her name, so I just, kept notes. And I was just thinking, can't believe these teachers or these office staff are this rude. Is this what goes on behind closed doors? And the fact is, it wasn't even behind closed doors. I was sitting in reception. It was completely public, so it wasn't like it was back in the school office or in the back office. It wasn't. This was happening right there, so any parent could have been sitting there and could have been hearing all this. So if she's acting this way, quite harsh to a little girl, quite condescending in front of another parent, can you imagine what goes on when no one's around? That is what I was thinking. I was thinking, what goes on when no one is around? So that was the second incident, and this all happened within like the 5 minutes or so that I was waiting for my child. So that was two things that happened like in a space of minutes. The third thing that happened was a parent came in to drop off packed lunch, and the way that lady picked up the packed lunch was like, and when I saw that look on her face, I was like, oh my god, this woman is so rude, so condescending, so harsh, so wrong. This behaviour is so unacceptable. So I was writing notes, and I knew that, you know what, I'm going to make a complaint. My child came. I asked her, yesterday you told me that you came to the office and the office staff lady told you to go back. Who was it? And in front of them, my child wouldn't say anything because she was obviously scared. I signed her out, took her out, and then I asked her outside the school, tell me, who was it that sent you back when you came to say you were sick? The day before, she had gone to the office to say that she was sick, and she was told to go back to her class. And then she ended up telling me who it was, and guess who it was? The lady who had just been rude, condescending, harsh. I thought, you know what? I can't not say anything. Being me, I walked back into the school and I said to the lady, can I have a word with you? She was like, yeah, you can have a word with me. And then I started telling her the fact that she sent my child back today. And you know what her response was? Well, when we check children out and we take their temperature and we find that they don't have a temperature, we send them back. And I was like, okay. But I spoke to her teacher, and her teacher told me, he told her to go to the office. And then she was like, well, who's the teacher? And I said, it's Mr. So-and-so. Let's say it's Mr. Smith. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to go and get Mr. Smith. And I was like, fine, if you want to. She went, she got Mr. Smith. So Mr. Smith came and said exactly what I just said. Yes, I told you, Mum, that I sent her to the office. And now, get this. This is what the teacher said. But, Mum, I didn't know that your child was sent back from the office. So I'm standing there thinking, right, so you've called the teacher over to try and make me look like, I don't know what, a liar or something. And the teacher's just confirmed what I told you. And then I spoke to her about, well, I just wanted to tell you that I was not happy with your behaviour. I sat there in the school office and I witnessed certain things that didn't sit well with me. I witnessed you being harsh to a child. When I told her that, she just sat there and went, witnessed you being rude to a parent that brought in a packed lunch. And do you know what her response was? Well, I was on the phone, so I had to get the packed lunch like that. And I was like, what? You don't know how to say, oh, hold on a minute and get something. It's called bloody customer service. And she's like, you can't talk to me like that. I was like, hold on a minute. The way you just spoke to parents and a child, and then you're complaining about the way I'm talking to you. And as soon as I said that, she was like, you know what? I'm going to go and get the deputy head. So she went off to get the deputy head. And then the deputy head comes and he's like, Mum, you want to see me? So I go in to see the deputy head, explain to him the whole situation. And do you know what his response was? Well, Mum, we haven't had any issues with her. She's worked here for over a year. And I'm thinking, well, you are not going to throw another colleague under the bus and tell me you've had issues with her before. It's not it's not professional. So I know that. But even his response, the deputy head was like, well, mum, you came in here concerning your daughter. If your daughter was sick, why did you let her come into school? I said, she wasn't feeling too well, and I spoke to her teacher. And he was like, okay, I didn't know that you spoke to the teacher. I was like, yeah, I spoke to the teacher. And, and I said, if she doesn't feel well, I can come and pick her up. So that's not the issue. The issue here is the behaviour of someone who works at your school, and you're trying to skim over it. And he was like, well, mum, she's worked over a year and we haven't had any issues with her. I'm thinking, you know what? I know nothing's going to get done. So I basically just got my child and walked out. The whole point of why I'm telling you this story is because I was speaking to my daughter, and she told me the only reason she didn't say anything is because she was scared. And I said to her, well, you do know that teachers can't do anything to you. You have to, if something is wrong, you have to tell me. Don't be scared. And the whole point of me kind of bringing this story to you guys was, one, to rant. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be honest. I kind of needed to rant. So one is to rant, but not just that, but it's kind of just to remind us parents that not to be so naive. Children while they're at school obviously should be taken care of, and I'm not saying that schools don't take care of our children. They do, but I just think it's important for us parents to keep an open sort of dialogue with our children, and an open communication with them, and just constantly talk to them, ask them, how was school, did anything happen, just if anything does happen, you can always tell me, whether it's good or bad. Just ask them about their day, because you just never know. We feel like our children are being looked after at school, and yes, obviously they are being looked after. I'm not saying that every single teacher or office staff worker treats children like this woman, or parents like this woman. No, but I'm just saying that we need to just keep an open dialogue and open communication with our children. That was kind of the point of why I brought you this story. So yeah, that was my story time and my little rant. If you have had a similar experience, please let me know down below, or if you would have done something different, then let me know down below as well. If you're new and you haven't subscribed, then do subscribe. I don't just rant. I don't rant all the time. I do make lifestyle, fashion, and sometimes beauty videos as well. But if you enjoyed this content and you feel like you enjoy some of my other content, then do consider subscribing. And if you've had a similar experience, then please let me know down below, and also give this video a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye.